Thank you for joining in to June from Jackson's one and only ones. And this is for the only ones who go through it. This is for the only ones who think that society has forgotten about them. This is for the only ones who thought that you would never get through it. And this is for the only ones who ask the questions that don't nobody else asks. This is for the only ones who are not afraid to discuss things that the normal society does not discuss. You know, this is for the only ones who ever felt this way, or whoever felt that way. This is for the only ones, the WON, the one and only ones, you know. And today I just wanted to discuss what this channel is all about and why I'm opening up this channel. And it's just to better touch down on, things that may or may not be discussed, and to reach out to people, and for people to reach out to me. You know what I'm saying? It's a learning process both ways. You know what I'm saying? It can't be a discussion without me learning from one end and one end learning from me, or getting information from one end and one end giving information back. Let me say that. But yeah. So basically, this is being about like reaching out and touching on those touchy subjects like society and the predicament that we're in, especially with this COVID-19 going on, and you know what I'm saying, and how it's affecting us as a community, and touching on spirituality and sociology, and things that we could possibly change in society, or things that we see that might need change in society, or that we could bring change in society with. Me, for one thing, I see a lot of separation going on. Separation between people, separation between families, separation between communities, separation between this country as a whole. And it's separation, and anxiety and worry is contagious. So if we're worrying in this one particular area, it's contagious and it spreads to the next area. And next thing we know, we have a whole community full of people that worry, full of people that have anxiety, full of people that feel like they are lonely. And I think right now is one of the loneliest times in the world for a lot of people, because they feel like they can't reach out to people and talk about things that are bothering them, or things that are on their mind dearly, that dearly needs to be talked about. It seems like society has become ashamed to talk about certain things. And I feel like that the only way that we're going to get past this stage in society that we are now is that we become more open with one another and discuss our issues and what's going on in society today. And one thing about it is, I call it the point of no return, to where society's and what I mean about the point of no return is society is giving you information on how to be and how to live and on who you are, but you can't give information back to society on who you really are and who you truly is. So it seems like it's the point of no return, where it's given to me but I can't give back. Well, this is definitely the point of no return for me, because I have chosen not to let society dictate who I am and what I am. And my channel is about breaking down boundaries and breaking down separation lines that don't truly exist. They only exist in our heads. And if we put boundaries in our heads and around our heads, we are limiting ourselves for room for growth. And we smother ourselves, and we don't give ourselves room for growth. The only boundary that should be around your head is that this is a constant space for growth, a constant space for change, and a constant space for growth. That should be the only boundary that we have around our mind, is that it's only here for growth and opportunity to change in our daily lives to make lives better for us and to make lives better for the people that's around us. And more and more lately, I see life has become more difficult for a lot of people. I see people with a lot of anxiety. I see people with a lot of worries and things that's going on that that it sends people to their breaking points, to the point where people don't know what's going on. And my message is to encourage you, is to hold on, to keep holding on, and don't give up faith, because the reward goes to the ones who held on the strongest, and whose faith was the solidest, and who held on the longest and held on to the end. May I say, not the longest, but the ones who held on to the end. For the ones I say who want to give up in life, please don't give up. Please don't give up. You going through the situation you're going through just to come out better on the opposite end, on the other end, just to come out better. And when you come out better on the other end, you will look back and see all that you went through and realize how strong of a person that you are, especially when you have faith. And my faith is based in Christianity. And I'm not knocking anybody's faith or religion. This is not a channel based on religion, because I feel the need that we need to have a discussion as a whole, as a community as a whole. And I'm not knocking you for what religion that you are, or race that you are, or culture that you follow, but we all have concerns, and we all have want to make our voices and opinions heard. And this is the absolute channel that I'm trying to open up. So one thing about it is that if we're ever going to move anywhere in society, we have to come together as a whole in society and break these separation lines and boundaries down. There should be no upper class, lower class, middle class. It shouldn't be that. We should all be as one class, and that's as a class that's pushing for a better future for our most precious resources, and that's our children. And that's our children and the generation that's coming up behind us. One thing about it, if the generation that's coming up behind us is not in a better position than we were coming up, then they have been robbed. They have been robbed of what we were supposed to be sowing and reaping. We supposed to sow better seeds to our generation so that they would be able to reap the benefits of the things that we were able to enjoy as kids coming up and as young adults coming up. If they don't have those same benefits or even better benefits, then they've been robbed. And it's a lot of separation going on between the younger generation and the older generation. And I believe there needs to be a mediation that comes through to say, well, the younger generation shouldn't say that, oh, the older generation can't teach me nothing. The older generation should look at the younger generation and say, oh yeah, I could learn a thing or two from the younger generation, because they're dealing with something different. And recognize that the older generation has been through, things that would that's very valuable to us as a society, that we need to hold on to, and that we don't need to let go of, because everything can be found on Google. Everything in life can be found at the tip of a fingertip. Everything in life, the situations that you make it through, can only be passed down through a generation that's been through life already. Now, the younger generation hasn't been through life already, so it's things that we can learn from the older generation. And the younger generation is experiencing things that the older generation haven't experienced. So it's things that the older generation can learn from the younger generation. And there's a gap that needs to be connected. And I don't mean, to single anybody out, but especially in the black community. Especially in the black community. The way we look at each other is from one generation to the older generation, and from the older generation to the younger generation. It needs to be healed. It needs to be re-established, and it needs to be, we need to have a re-establishment of a connection. Because if we don't find that connection, then our whole generation is lost, and I come from a generation of, I was raised up to respect the elders, respect my older generation. I had a better connection with the older generation than I did with my own peers, because most of all, I was an only child raised by an older single parent mother who was raised by older parents, and so for the most part I was alone, and I was conversating with older people, so I gained a more of a ability to conversate with older people than I did people in my own age group, and other people come from a different point of view. They may have been around the younger generation or their own generation more than the older people, so they know how to communicate well with the younger generation or people of their peers. But this is sort of for everybody, you know what I'm saying? If one generation failed the next, then they've been robbed. We shouldn't have anything but something good to pass down from one generation to the next. Anything but something that could help. Anything that could help. We shouldn't be passing our burdens on down to the next generation. And I see that, not saying, we have passed down our burdens on to the next generation unknowingly. And we look at the generation that's coming up, and say, I wonder where they got that from, or why are they like this, that, and that way, and we don't understand. But those were situations and stuff that we were scared to face. They having to face them head on. Now they having to face them head on without any guidance. And we should be the ones to guide them and lead them, you know what I'm saying? And as far as the young generation goes to the older generation, we should respect them in a way that we should be able to listen to them and listen to their point of view and see where they're coming from at least, you know what I'm saying, before we cut them off from listening to them. I never met nobody that I couldn't learn anything from. Anybody I ever met in life, I learned something from them, whether they be young, old, educated, uneducated, black, white, you know what I'm saying, crippled, healthy, you know what I'm saying, popular, unpopular, you know what I'm saying. I learned things from a variety of people, which gave me a wide perspective and a wide point of view, you know what I'm saying. And with different point of views, you get a better insight on things that's going on around you, things that's going on within you, and things that could be potentially in our way for the future, So I just want to, congratulate the ones who trying, you know what I'm saying, who at least trying, and who see that there needs to be a change, and there cannot be no change if we don't change. Point blank. If we don't change, there will be no change. You know what I'm saying? And one thing that needs to be changed is the communication between the young generation. Excuse me, y'all. It ain't COVID-19, y'all. I ain't had my C-19 shots, but it ain't the COVID-19, and I don't think you can get it through the media. But anyway, like I was saying, one generation is, and I see fear throughout the generation as a whole. You know what I'm saying? Throughout the community as a whole, I sense a whole lot of fear. You know what I'm saying? But I see a whole lot of separation throughout the community also. And one of those separations is the young from the old. And I think that's the first thing that we need to get in order, especially us as so-called African Americans or whatever you want to call us. I don't believe there is a such thing as an African American. And especially if you don't know exactly where we're from, how can you just label us African Americans? You know what I'm saying? But but anyway, but this is to every race, creed, nationality as a whole. This is to everybody though. This is for everybody. You know what I'm saying? I think we all could work on our generational communicational skills, because that's the only way we are ever going to move forward and things are ever going to get better. And I believe somewhere along the line that communication between the young and the old got severed, and it was some, it could have been some more or less animosity from a less understanding. The older generation didn't understand the younger generation. The younger generation didn't understand the older generation. And they didn't understand that we can have fun together, and we can also learn from each other. You know what I'm saying? If you're an older person and you never listened to rap before, check out some of the rap music. Some of these people really have a good story to tell and really have a positive, you know what I'm saying, outlook, and really have talent. That's art. Rap music is art. It's an art. It's a real art, man. You'll really be surprised on how they put the words together, the lyrics together, the beats together, and the message that some of them are trying to portray, and so as well as the younger generation. Take a time to listen out to some of these R&B songs, these oldie, or some of these country songs, or some of these gospel songs. I listen to a lot of gospel songs now, and they give me so much peace and inspiration, especially at nighttime when my head is worried and I've been going through it. When I go to sleep at night, I put on my headphones and I have nothing but gospel music playing while I'm going to sleep, so it hits my subconscious. So when I wake up through in the morning, I won't be going through so much hell. You know how sometimes you wake up in the morning and you just can't get right for no reason at all? Yeah, that eliminates that. That gospel or that good soul music, it eliminates that. When I wake up in the morning, I feel fresh. I get up out of bed and I go and take a cold shower in the morning. I don't even take hot showers no more in the morning. I take cold showers. They keep my skin looking, sort of preserve my skin. They preserve, they healthy for your cells. You know what I'm saying? And they wake your spirit up and uplift your spirit. They put a smile on your face. Have you ever got up out of cold water and got up in the sun and just felt so good, like you're getting out of a swimming pool? Well, I do that every day. And I even get a bucket. If the water can't get cold enough, I even get a bucket and just pour it over my head like they did in the river, back in the Nile River or the Jordan River or any one of the rivers. And I just let it soak my whole body. And it feels so good and my skin feels so clean and stuff. That's the kind of advice that I want to, present. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that people may not have known about. It may help somebody's life because it is healthier. It's known. You can look it up and you can Google it, how cold showers help the immune system and help your skin, and I'm 37 years old, and sometimes I get carded a lot, and I get told a lot that you don't look a day over 27. That may be true or may be not true, but I want to preserve life for as long as possible. And another thing with that is the way you think and your positive thinking. You know what I'm saying? As the older you get, you know what I'm saying? You should think I ain't doing nothing but getting younger. You know what I'm saying? That should be in your subconscious. You know what I'm saying? The older I get, the younger I get. You know what I'm saying? The more older I get, the more back to my childhood I reach. You know what I'm saying? And it's a young me rooting me on, and it's an old me, and it's a young me pushing me on. It's an older me pulling me on, telling me to come on. But you know what I'm saying? I see a younger version of myself in the future. You know what I'm saying? Than I do, and your body will react to it. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you tell your body will do. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you tell it. because that chemical reaction comes from thought. It comes from thought. It comes from an invisible source, the source of thought. You can train your body on how to react to certain situations, on how to maintain itself and how to keep itself up, if you only knew how to train your thought. Because chemicals reactions come from a source. They have to come from some source, and that source is an invisible thought. So if you can control that invisible thought, it could maneuver your chemical reactions in certain ways that just worrying won't do. Worrying won't help. You know what I'm saying? That's why worrying doesn't help at all. You know what I'm saying? Because worrying, it controls your chemicals reactions too. It controls your reactions and your chemicals too. Worrying does. That's why the people say you're gonna worry yourself to an early grave, and you really can. You know, so it's best to, put on a happy face, even sometimes, even if that's all that you can do sometimes, is smile when you go through certain situations. You have a gold mine on the inside. You have a complete gold mine on the inside of your body. You know what I'm saying? And that's the most valuable thing that you possess. Besides our younger generation, our resources, our younger generation's most precious resources. The most valuable resource you possess is on the inside of your body. You know what I'm saying? Between your ears and between your forehead and the back of your head is the greatest chemical factory on this planet, known to man. So with the faith of your higher power and the ability that you were given, when you were chosen to be born, we want to inspire each other and uplift each other to think at a greater capacity, and to not be controlled by what the masses think, and not to be controlled by what Johnny and little Billy over here is thinking. You know what I'm saying? Is what little Johnny and on David's agenda. You should be able to think from, your own point of view, and you should have something unique to bring to the table. You know what I'm saying? Just think about Thanksgiving, and if everybody had the same dish to bring to the table, Thanksgiving wouldn't be Thanksgiving. It would be totally a shame to come to a Thanksgiving where everybody bought dressing and nobody brought turkey, nobody brought macaroni and cheese, nobody brought sweet potatoes, nobody brought fried chicken, and everybody had brought the same dish. Well, that's how us as society as a whole should work. We shouldn't all have the same thing to bring to the table. We all have different gifts, and we all have something different to bring to the table. Because if we all have something the same, then where would society be going? Nowhere. Not nowhere. It would be going in the same direction. And going in the same direction and receiving the same results is the definition of insanity. And believe me, nobody wants to feel insane. I done been there, I done that, and it is not a pretty sight. Not at all. Insanity is one of the worst feelings you can have. It's doing the same thing, expecting different results. It's like running on a treadmill, going nowhere. Running in the marathon, and you still at the start line. So I encourage y'all and each other to think uplifting thoughts. Uplift your neighbor if you can. That's the best way to uplift yourself, is to uplift somebody else. I've dealt with, feeling alone. I dealt with, wanting to give up in life. You know what I'm saying? Like, what am I doing here? What am I supposed to be doing? Where is life taking me to? Where am I headed? I felt like life was going in the same direction, and I wasn't even. What am I doing here? I'm just here walking around, just just existing, sort of. You know what I'm saying? Not even knowing my purpose, not even knowing who I really was, not even knowing myself. That was one of the scariest things I've ever been through. Not knowing who I was, not knowing myself. You know what I'm saying? An identity crisis. That'll make you turn in on yourself. When you have an identity crisis and you don't know who you truly are, it'll make you turn in on yourself. It'll make you turn against yourself and try to kill your own self when you don't know who you are. And I believe, and this is not me singling no race out. Again, not singling a race out or not trying to cause confusion. But I believe that's one thing that us as so-called African Americans go through is an identity crisis, to the point where we didn't know who we were. So when they told us, after they let us out of chains and after they let us out of bondage, they told us we were bad people because we didn't know who we were. So we turned out, we listened and we took that advice and we turned out to be bad people. We turned out not us as a whole, but some of us fell for the bait, and and we turn against each other, and we want to destroy our own race of people, and we want to destroy our own communities. And this is not everybody. This is not for everybody, because I do see some that want their community to be healed, and they want their community to want to uplift their community and see great things happen in their community and bring leaders out of our communities and bring changes up out of our communities and bring positive leaders up out of our community. But I do see where like it's people in our community that label us bad. They label us bad and they do bad because that's who they think that we are. That's who they identify us as, and that's who we identify ourselves as. But we are truly going through our identity crisis, and then we don't know who we truly are. We don't know who we truly are. You know what I'm saying? And that's the same thing that goes on with a person who doesn't know who they truly are. You know what I'm saying? They have an identity crisis, and they turn in on themselves. You know what I'm saying? And they you may want to commit suicide. You may want to lower your standards and try to please everybody but yourself. You know what I'm saying? You may want to turn against people, and that ain't the way to go. You know what I'm saying? The best way to go is find out who you truly are. You know what I'm saying? Spend some alone time with yourself. Talk to yourself if you have to. You know what I'm saying? That's how I got up out that rut that I was in. That's how I got up out that pit. That's how I climbed up out that pit that I was in. I had to talk to myself. I didn't have nobody else to talk to. I ran out of folks to talk to. You know what I'm saying? People that I thought I could talk to, they didn't want to hear it. They didn't want to listen. It was not their problem. Them is your own problem, and them are your problems for you to deal with. So the best way for me to deal with them, I had to talk to myself in the second person. I came in my room late at night. You know what I'm saying? June, that's my nickname. They call me June. June, man, come on, man. What's wrong, June? You know what I'm saying? I know you know better than this. I know you can do better than this. Man, June, you know your potential, man. Come on, June, man. What you want out of life, man? What you desire out of life? What you want to give back towards life, June? What's your true ambitions? What's your goal, man? What what's your desires? What do you like to do? What do you like to give? What do you like to do best? What comes easy and what comes natural to you, June? You know what I'm saying? Come on, June. And I got an answer back. I got an answer back deep from behind my heart. You know what I'm saying? From my backbone somewhere. A voice came and was like, it was a voice that didn't want to give up on me at all. It was a sincere voice. Out of all the little chatter in my head, little chit chat in my head, a sincere voice came through that would not give up on me for nothing at all. Now I done had some hard days, and I done had moments where I did not honor the voice as far as what it was telling me to do. You know, and this voice came right along the time that I seen a change in my life, that things were looking up from the past and from what I was going through in the past. Like for 16, 17 years, I thought I was ill. I thought I was mentally ill with schizophrenia. but I wasn't. You know what I'm saying? Is what I want to say. I had a bad spirit in me. I had a bad spirit that was talk about this person, talk about that person, down in me, trying to scare the daylights out of me, and trying to get me to think I'm crazy. For 16 years, they said it was schizophrenia. I'm taking medicine, and this stuff not getting no better. You know what I'm saying? Until I talked to myself, till I had an honest conversation with myself, to myself, by myself. I started getting back answers that only I could answer, that only I could solve. And they were intelligent answers. They were answers that, where is this coming from? But they came from the inside. They came from my subconscious. You know what I'm saying? Things that I know, but I can't recall. I can't bring forth to my regular conscious because they're deep within my subconscious. And they were answers to, like, boy, you are brilliant. You are a brilliant person, man. You are intelligent. You know, regardless of what things you done been through, trials and tribulations, you know what I'm saying? Milestones that you done conquered and things that you done had to get over.